Not the chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise.
Whoa.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Fuck good. If what the actual fuck was a movie, out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod.
Sup, Chuddle Club members. Welcome to another episode of Chuddle the Pod, where horror lover movies, both of them, have a feel-good time. We always keep it spoiler free up top. You know, I was thinking, I like to think of it as like we're a Chuddle streaming service, and when you go to that little info pane, all the stuff we talk about in the beginning before the spoilers is like what would go in that info pane if we had our own streaming service. And then you click on it if it sounds like the type of thing that you think you might be into.
Oh, yeah. It would be like, what's that streaming service from Classic Horror Story?
Bloodflix or Net.
There we go. We'd be on Bloodflix.
I don't know if I want to actually be on Bloodflix.
This is more like Chutter.
Oh, that's true.
Chutter or Shuttle is more what I was thinking.
Chutter.
Chuttle.
Yeah.
Churtle, the streaming service.
Well, we don't want our streaming service killing itself.
You can only stream movies where...
Yeah.
That's true. Anyway, tonight we're doing a Chuddle Club Dread. So, Ross and Brian, you guys are clearly here. I'll let you introduce yourselves. Ross!
Huh?
Oh, fuck. Brian?
Huh?
I don't know what happened. I think... Well, we're definitely...
I had to clear it. Oh, hey!
Ah, thank God.
That's not what you're trying.
I
got double confused, so I just
scared.
resorted. I went back to my hums.
Defaulted.
If this is your first time listening to Huz, Brian's thing, and I just felt like I was in a real-life horror movie. I didn't know what was going on.
Ross is our resident level 5 thief. He just likes to...
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, in our little... We love D&D. If you do.
We love D&D. If you do. Well, I knew that Sam had just recently watched Invasion of the Body Snatchers, so I just wanted to bring that into the pod for you.
Oh, God, the pod. All right, let's move on. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here tonight to have fun with some fun police on a fun island in a fun way. But before we do that, I want to take a moment to thank our coven of patrons. Your sacrifice gives us life, and we thank your beautiful souls.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With all club members present and the coven avowed, it's time to crack open that goo book and officially begin the meeting.
Give me that goo. Oh, yeah.
All right. We're going to get our Synopsis and
Goo me,
some
please.
taglines. Toe taglines. All right.
And throw on that toe tagline.
When a serial killer interrupts the fun at the swanky Coconut Pete's Coconut Beach Resort, a hedonistic island paradise for swingers, it's up to the club staff to stop the violence or at least hide it. So I don't think that's very good.
That's not very accurate. Is it a swingers resort? I mean,
No.
I know a lot of people are banging, but I don't think it's specifically...
At the very end, when everybody thinks they're all going to die, it kind of goes to that. But outside of that, it's more like if Jimmy Buffett had a resort. You know, they're partying, they're having a good time, but it's not.
Well, no, I thought it as like
swingers resort.
Well, I mean, somewhere in between that, not necessarily a swingers resort, but I'd say somewhere above a Jimmy Buffett resort. Well, I don't know. I don't know what goes on with the parrot heads. I don't know if they're like fucking on this island. But I figured you also kind of went to this island being like, all right, I'm probably gonna fuck.
Sure.
Probably.
Maybe you might it's kind of like maybe known or expected there. Like it is a little bit of hedonism type of thing, kind of known, but not necessarily it's a full on like fuck fest like at the...
Right. But sex definitely is a big part of it. You're right. All the games they play are kind of like sex games too, like during montages or things. You'll just see like the guys have balloons on their butts and all the girls run over and like gotta grind them to pop them, stuff like that.
Because I will say that throughout the movie there is a lot of sex and sexual activity, but everyone seems like very willing and about it and almost expected of like, this is why I came to this this place, was to let it all go.
Yeah.
But it's not a swanky, I want to call it a swanky resort.
No.
And then following up swanky resort was saying it's a hedonistic island paradise for swingers. It doesn't match up.
Yeah,
and then it's like, it's up to the club's staff to stop the violence or at least hide it. It makes it sound like they find out about it right away, and the whole thing is just like a charade for hiding
a weekend
it.
at Bernie's?
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of wish
hiding
that's
corpses.
what it was, but we'll get into it.
Yeah.
I think we all agree that's definitely one of the weakest.
It has whispers of the
synopsis.
essence of it, but it's very misleading.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Only 3 taglines. One I think is probably the original movie poster, which is this: "A vacation to die for."
Nice. Works. Solid.
Yep.
Classic.
This one I believe is the US DVD. I'm pretty sure this is what mine said. From the warped minds who brought you Super Troopers.
Of course.
This Broken Lizard movie. We
Yes.
haven't mentioned that yet, but this was their second movie that they did, their follow-up to Super Troopers.
Mhm.
And then the Ireland DVD is Sun, Sea, Sex, and Slaughter, which I actually think that's probably the best one. It kind of captures the vibe of the movie best.
Mm-hmm. It's almost a limerick.
Yeah. Sun,
It's-
Sea,
yeah.
Sex, and Slaughter. Take her out to see the farmer's daughter.
Oh.
Whoa.
Sorry, I've been
Whoa.
watching Dashcam nonstop, just and rapping,
Oh.
freestyling in the
Yep.
parts where she's not. Oh, here it is.
Here, try it with that. Ready to go. Go for it.
Sun, sea, sex, and slaughter. Take her out to see the farmer's daughter. Get her in the house and make her feel rotten. Do her in the bum, and that's what you've gotten. Please stop it. The music right now. I don't want to go. All right. All right.
He would have continued, but I stopped it. So
Thank you.
It stopped it. He would have wrapped this entire
Oh,
episode.
God. That's gonna be exist now. All right. Movies are made by people, and the people that made this movie are, well, it was made by Broken Lizard. We just touched on that. Broken Lizard, Jay Chandrasekhar, Kevin Hefferman, Steve Lemmy, Paul Soder, Eric Stolansky. So they all wrote the movie.
Mhm.
Jay Chandrasekhar directed it. He directed Super Troopers as well. He's done a ton of directing at this point. Then other key players in the movie, of course, we got Bill Paxton as Coconut Pete,
Oh, yeah.
Brittany Daniel as Jenny, and Jordan Ladd as Penelope, or Penelope as she's known in the film.
Oh, sweet Penelope.
Penelope. Lindsay Price as you, and a few others, but those are our main characters. Fun, sort of mean nerd appearance from Sam Levine in this one. All that being said, I think we can find out what it's time for.
Fatality.
You know what that means. On a scale of 1 to 10, Psycho to the Sadness, how gory is this film? 1 to 5 for consistency, 1 to 5 for intensity. Plop them together, get your gore score. I know we've been all over the place.
we have.
Ooh,
I
yeah.
feel like I
Like,
don't understand
amongst
gore at all anymore.
ourselves. So, I'm going to go last since I've been furthest away from you guys. Let's go with Brian first.
Sure. Okay. So for consistency, I'll probably give it like a 2. I feel like there's not consistently that much. And it's really not that bad from what we see. I mean, of course, towards the end, we get a little bit more, but it's not like
Yeah.
you're not seeing a gut flop, dick rip type of thing.
No.
So we're not in that
Yeah,
level.
no,
But I think maybe I'll give it about a 3.5 on that. So what is that, a 4.5? Which I feel
5.5.
5.5. I said it too. 5.5. It feels good. Okay, I'll give it that.
Mhm.
Okay, Ross.
Funny enough, similar stuff. I had 2.5 for consistency and 2.5 for intensity. They actually are kind of neck and neck, where I feel like it's a slow consistency, but it is kind of inconsistency going through. And then you have you do get some good intense scenes, but they happen very short and very few and far between. So I feel like hitting it like right at a 5. I had it like a 4.5 to a 5, but I kind of tweaked it to, I think like a 5 would be a solid number for this
All
one.
right, Sam.
All right. I was at a 2 for consistency. So right in the same boat with you guys. Although I was only at a 2 for intensity, I think I could bump it up to 2.5. I think that'd be fair. So I guess I'm not as far as at a 4. It seemed like it was a wide gap when Brian was at 5.5. But if I bump it up to a 4.5, it keeps us closer.
Yeah, and a
together.
5.5 is probably on the high end, if anything. So I think it's all sits right. That's why it's a good average.
Ross is
right?
technically the correct one on this one.
All right, Ross wins.
Thank you. I try.
Congratulations.
All right, you get to keep your wiener.
Oh, good. Oh, thank God.
That'll come into play later. For now. Okay, sorry. Well, I think that actually does it here. We can go ahead and find out our next drop.
Who is the horror forward?
Starting with subgenres. What subgenres does it fall into?
I mean, definitely a slasher. Tropical terror, like
Horror
Ooh, if
comedy.
that was-
Heavy on the comedy.
Wait, is tropical terror a thing? Because that sounds interesting. I'm into that.
I mean,
subgenre
there's
as
a
well,
few we had Influencer was a little bit of a tropical terror. I think that
Resort horror.
it's the exotic location murder. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I like the idea of resort
The
horror.
Beach. I haven't seen The Beach, but it's The Beach.
Sure. maybe.
Classify? I don't know.
Okay, no, yeah. I'm not disagreeing. I just like the idea of it. Horror comedy, like you said, slashers. I think that all fits right into it perfectly.
absolutely.
Parrot heads. If you're a big buffet head, buffet head, I think.
Buffet head?
Buffet
I might
head.
enjoy it. Yeah, for sure.
I've gone this lifetime
Jimmy
of
Buffett enjoyed
purposely calling him Jimmy Buffet. So
So it's hard not to.
yeah,
It's hard not
But
to.
I'm trying to not be a funny guy.
You should start calling him Himmy
I've
Buffett.
heard other people I've heard other people refer to this as like
James Buffett.
I mean, because it's for Broken Lizard, that it's like a spoof movie, but I don't really view it as a spoof movie. I think it's an homage to certain other slashers, but I don't think it's spoofy.
Totally. I
Oh,
would
yeah,
agree.
no, I
Yeah,
agree.
it's not like an airplane or something.
Yeah, no.
But
Okay,
it
no,
is like a straight up comedy with like in a horror that's
With horror.
in a horror setting. It's hard to describe because it's the horror is just part of it, but because I think when you said homage movie, that put it well, because it's like clearly some of these guys, if not all of these guys, were into that like late 70s, early 80s slasher movies.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Sure. I agree.
What kind of environment is best to watch this? I would say with
it's
people.
as a comedy.
Comedies are
yeah.
best with people. I think we've touched on that.
I think with a lot of like Broken Lizard stuff, like it's meant to be seen with buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's supposed to be like a day out.
You know,
And
how does a day out with
Like a whole day out
your
of it.
buddies?
Like all day.
A day out with your
You
buddies.
watching
Let's go
Club
watch the Club Dread.
Well, hold on. If you want to watch Club Dread, get some friends together. Go
Maybe
out.
go out for a nice lunch. Maybe maybe see the movie and then
Well, you
go
gotta-
for an ice cream
You
afterwards.
gotta prime them.
But make it a day. Make it a day with your buddies.
I'd say go to the park. Really, go to the park. Walk through the park after to discuss.
Oh, before and after, because you got to go and get like super stoned.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I will advocate for it. I mean, if you're
if you're
cool,
gonna watch this movie,
not a fucking narc or a cop like Sam. I mean, we're able to talk so freely about it because we got a get out of jail free card from our cop friend, right?
Yeah.
what's up? That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he is the fun cop.
The fun
The
police.
fun police.
Which is funny that we mentioned that because I call some of my dogs that the fun police, but they're like the fun police because they're coming and running up to like make sure
Ruining
no
your
fun.
fun.
Yeah. Stop having
But
fun.
not
Making sure
not
everyone's
'cause you're
having
not
fun.
having
Yeah,
fun.
exactly. Yeah. So watch with friends.
Yeah, unless is it for beginners?
For beginners, I mean,
It's more of a comedy than a horror movie, even though
Agreed.
it is a
so
horror
if you're a
movie,
big
like
comedy
yeah.
guy interested in horror, then yeah, great for beginners. But
It's
You're looking for
But if you're
horror?
interested
No.
in horror, this
No.
is not a good movie to show you. Yeah.
no. This is like and I mean this because it is supposed to be more comedy than horror. It's like a Diet Coke slasher. Like if you're into like if like you have a buddy that you're trying to get into the genre, this would be maybe a gateway movie to see it. But it's
Maybe.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Matt.
I feel like also some of the things that they try to homage to in this, I feel like you'd have to see a few slashers or pivotal slashers to really get where their humor is coming from with a few different scenes.
There's certainly references you would miss, no doubt. I think I hear something flapping its wings or fapping its wings or however it's making its way over here. Hey, Shuttle Harbinger of
Splat.
Doom, you are here, my Mothman, with some warnings.
Oh, fuck. I don't know.
I don't have any huge ones, right?
Is fruit people coitus? Is that a trigger warning?
Fruit people? Oh, I mean,
It's got
People
like
dressed up as
bro
pieces
humor,
of fruit, and then
yeah, no, it's
but
very
without being
There's
like.
some-
It's some of it seems a little dated now, but it's like nothing super like. There's nothing particularly cringy that I can think of.
there's a few 2000s borderline racist things that happen in this movie.
Sure, but I think those
But
characters are like shitty characters. At least if the one I'm thinking of. What the
but
the
it's still
incidences
present.
I'm thinking of it happening. But
Yes.
you're right, it is still present.
Yeah, and like you said,
Yeah.
the bro humor and like kind of like that typical of the time college humor. So a lot of like, there's instances of,
Right.
like dudes getting excited, hugging each other and be like, oh, gay.
Like, oh, don't be
like
gay,
that
bro.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to
Yeah.
get plenty of that. That's the big thing.
That's
One of the
it,
characters
yeah.
I'm curious about, but we'll talk about it. Maybe.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
I think I might know which one you're curious about. We'll find out. Okay, well, with all that being said, I think we can saddle up and ride into it, right?
Spoiler zone. I really wish I had like Genuine's pony when you just said we're gonna ride into it and Pony started fucking ripping.
If it was just like, oh man, I fucking love that song. IMDb behind the scenes. This first one seems immediately questionable. Broken Lizard considers this their funniest film. Now, it could be true. Who knows? I consider it their funniest film. It's my favorite Broken Lizard movie, but it just doesn't seem right.
Like most things, I feel like it's incredibly subjective.
Totally. The translation of Steve Lemmy's character, Juan Castillo, is John Castle, which is Patrick Swayze's character's name in Dirty Dancing.
Nice.
Lemmy and Kevin Heffernan are huge Patrick Swayze fans, so that's why
Oh, awesome.
he has that name. Originally, there were more scenes explaining Steve Lemmy character, how he grew up on a goat farm, but they removed that from the film. You guys get the confession about the goat, right? That was still in the movie?
He used a condom.
He used a condom.
Yeah, he used,
We
but he
didn't
used
get
a
the
condom, so
confession
it's
that he
fine.
banged a goat.
Yeah. Because there's
get
a
it.
little...
Oh, we should bring up.
So
Sam,
we
you should
watched
bring
two
up the
different
fact of-
versions. Yeah. That's what I meant if
Okay.
you had it. So I watched my DVD of it that I've had since 2004 when this movie came out. And it's the extended cut. And I didn't realize that it's the only version I've ever watched. And then I watched it with commentary today with Jay Chandrasekhar and Eric Stolsky. What's his name? The Fun Police, Sam Sup.
Mm-hmm.
And they talked about how certain scenes didn't make the theatrical version. I was like, wait, what? So I watched a different version than Ross and Brian watched, and that will come up as we go because I saw more stuff.
Yes.
But there's a whole detective story in it, and they kind of turn on Juan while they're there, and they're like, oh, we know you're Juan Castillo, aren't you? And they have a whole red herring thing with him, but the reason why they knew him is because he fucked a goat. And another thing with the goat, in the scene where he has sex with a gymnast, there's a picture of him, actual Steve Lemmy as a kid, holding a goat.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Despite the fact the movie was filmed in Super 35, filmed in Panavision, is listed in the end credits. Don't really know what that means, but I figured if you do, you might think that's fun. And last pre-movie discussion one. The character Coconut Pete and Coconut Pete's music strongly resembles the Ballad of Coconut Pete by Jim Morris, who I didn't even know that was a person. I looked him up, and it is some guy. I thought he might look more like the character Coconut Pete. He doesn't. He looks like some fucking guy who'd like work in an office or something. Coconut Pete clearly has more of a Jimmy Buffett look, and his fandom and everything like that is clearly more Jimmy Buffett. But there is a guy who wrote a song called Ballad of Coconut Pete, and he makes that type of music. But it looks like he'd do it like on weekends when he's not selling insurance.
Nice.
All right. Who picked it? Why in history? This was a patron suggestion. This came from our witchy brethren, Evan, our witchy brethren. He suggested this movie. It's one of his favorites. And we ended up picking it. We did a rare thing where we picked a movie that we would have ended up picking down the line anyway, because I would have picked this movie at some point. And it was just, I don't know, seemed like a good way to get it out of the way. Not get it out of the way, but I was happy to pick it because of I used to watch the shit out of this movie when it came out.
Shit watcher.
Machete Sam was like my screen name on a ton of shit for a long time because of this movie. And yeah, loved it. Interesting watching now because it had been a fucking long time. I don't know how much we'll get to it. I certainly don't react to it the same now as I did then, but I still love it. So
of course.
Yeah, of course.
Your history with it,
Mine?
Brian, Hugo.
Yeah, Hugo over here.
Oh my.
I think I don't have much of a history with it. I think, therefore, I know. Sam, I know Sam always liked it, and he had definitely probably shown it to me once or twice, but it was something I never hit hard on. That's about it. I wish I could expand upon it more. I don't have any ill feelings towards it. I wasn't like adamant about not like participating in the film cycle of Club Dread, but great.
Cool. Roos.
Yeah.
I know you have a very different history.
I remember when this came out, and I saw it right when it came out, and to be totally honest with you, for me, it's one of the lesser films from Broken Lizard, at least at the time. And
there was only two.
Like
this was the follow-up to Super Troopers. A lot of people didn't like this when it came out.
Oh, totally. I mean, at the time it was like, meh. But honestly, I had not revisited it since. I mean, we may have seen it when we all lived together.
There's a chance I would have put it on.
Yeah, but that would probably be about it. So I haven't really revisited this movie since
2007, 2008,
8, if that. Yeah. So it was fun. It was a fun revisit.
All right. Well, with all that said, I think we're ready to talk about it.
Fucking let's talk about it. Fuck yeah.
Oh, that's good. I like fucking let's talk about it.
Fucking let's talk about it on this Club Dread.
An island off Costa Rica. Actually, from watching the commentary, I learned all these opening island like beautiful shots are borrowed from Danny Boyle's The Beach. Maybe that's why it was on my mind.
Okay.
Oh, wait, they're like stock shots from that movie?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
It's not till it's actually in the jungle that it's their own footage. They had like no budget or a very low budget, you know.
I was curious about that because I didn't know how off the heels. I don't know how well Super Troopers did.
Super Troopers did really well for an independent comedy.
Right. So I was thinking, I was like, oh, okay. So they had some money. So that's why they were able to like, let's shoot a fucking resort horror film.
Sure.
And like, cause we're able to get out there. I don't know, but yeah.
No, apparently this was shot right after 9/11 and this resort barely had people staying at it. So they got in super cheap. And because nobody was staying there, they got to like leave their setup everywhere and made it real easy to film and stuff.
Oh, nice.
I guess
oh shit.
They're like, yeah, we got to like swim in the ocean every day. It was amazing. Anyway,
and that's how we don't let them win.
Yeah,
that's right. Who?
The terrorists.
Them.
Them, yeah. Boo. Show them. All right. So we get the two people, like the staff at the resort, are hooking up in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently the outfit that the girl is wearing, the actress is wearing, is supposed to be an homage to the camp counselors in the original Friday the 13th movie.
13th.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Oh, with that, because it also had nipple licking in Friday the 13th, right? Yeah, that's if I'm running that correctly. It was just like torso licking, almost gets a nipple.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't remember.
I don't recall, but
No,
you can be the
that's
expert
a
on that one, Ross.
I lied. That's a complete fabrication.
Oh, okay. Well, this one definitely does have nickel lip it.
Why'd you
It
stop
does.
looking at
Yes,
my
it does.
nipple? Like he's,
Nickel
yeah, like he's.
Why'd you stop looking at my
It's
nipples?
like, why'd you stop? Is it the hair or something like that? Yeah. Rolo, that guy's such a fucking dick. That guy was a friend of theirs. Apparently it was written to be like a sort of more like beefcake type dude, like a big dumb jock. And then their friend read for it and they were just like, fuck it, you got it.
Fucking do it.
So they're hooking up. There's she thinks she sees someone. He goes after it. Oh, it's just statue. Knocks the statue's head off. They get a monkey scare. Then another girl shows up to scare him, but she's there to hook up with them as well and has brought margaritas. And so some of this I think might have been cut from you guys. Do you get the like when she's like, well, let's at least go in that old mausoleum?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I get that.
Oh, yeah. And they also, one of my favorite lines is, this guy's going to be picking his teeth out of my dump. Was one it's always resonated with me. Pretty sticky.
Hey.
So they go in the mausoleum. There's a coffin that's like covered in tchotchkes, but they're like, these are all things that meant something to the dead. They knocked that all off because they're going to hook up on it. The door just fucking slams. Yeah, there's a big dick statue.
Hell yeah.
The door of the mausoleum slams. She opens it. And she's like, probably just the wind. They're hitting a lot of tropes here. The smoking weed in the woods, hooking up together, just being horny, doing drugs.
Oh yeah,
hitting all the getting killed things, and then they all get
heads
killed.
Or tails?
Heads or tails. Heads.
What's tails? You're not gonna be in
Yeah,
that.
you don't want to know or something.
You don't want to know.
What was
he
he
says
gonna
you don't
do?
want to know.
Suck his butt?
I would have something like
so.
that. Yeah.
I figured it'd just be a rusty trombone situation.
This is 2004. Wasn't ass eating wasn't as
Gen Z
accepted
wasn't
at that
like,
time. Yeah,
really.
Exactly. These were all like, these kids were 4 years old at the time that are now eating ass.
They were watching this and being like, well, what's the other option?
Yeah, they grew up with this.
Let's do that.
So he gets sliced, then the girls run out of the they were topless too, again, all the tropes. They go running out through the woods. One runs to a cliff, turns. The killer's right there with his like mask and poncho. It's sort of a tribal wooden mask. I don't know how to describe it really. Mm-hmm. And she starts to fall backwards, but reaches out and grabs the machete, and her hand slices on the machete. She falls off the cliff. They had a low, but one of the things they said, they had a low budget, so everything they had to do, or all the effects, are in-camera effects, because they couldn't afford to do like much CGI. Mm-hmm. So then here comes one of my favorite shots in the movie, which is, it's still fucking cool. The remaining girl is running. She gets close to the resort's edge. She's looking at everybody. Killer comes up from behind, chops her head off, and we get her. It's like a POV from her head getting chopped off, and like whirls around and lands on the ground. And then on the ground, the body drops in front of it and starts like spasming, and you get Club Dread like zooming towards the camera and like sort of a 70s font. I love that.
That was a really fucking cool intro.
Yeah.
For sure. Because I'd never seen it.
1 hour earlier, boats with all the guests are arriving at the resort. This is when we meet all our counselors. We get Jenny, aerobics. Juan, water sports. Putman, tennis. Putman's like, who likes to party? Who likes to party? It's just like so goofy and dumb. I love it.
I just love that. What's his name keeps on trying to introduce himself as the new masseuse, and everyone's like, "Get the fuck off!"
Oh
Just
yeah,
keep
keep going on in. Go on in. Have a great time. Yeah, Lars. We get Sam, the fun police. Dave, his DJ / drugs, and they immediately make Sam a suspect after he's introduced because he asks Rolo, he's like, hey, do you got that bag of weed from earlier? He was like, sorry, you know how it is. Let me know when you score some more. And we get like that sting in sort of slow motion on Sam to make him a red herring. And then right after that, the blonde girl gets ecstasy for her margaritas. But doesn't share them with Dave, and we get the sting in the
same
red
look.
herring, yeah. And then right after that, Rolo takes the girl away from Putman, and we get the sting in the red herring look, just back to back to back. It's like, what are you doing? You're just telling me what a nut cup this guy is. Coconut Pete comes out. He plays his Pleasure Island song. Take a shot of tequila and all of that. Crowd's like, that's where I'd like to feel ya. So bad. And apparently, yeah, go ahead.
That's why I get that this place is like that kind of hedonistic sexual place, because all of Coconut Homeboy's songs are kind of sexual and like pretty horny. Everything's pretty horny about the aura of this place. This place it feels like Pete's everyone
Pleasure
here.
Island. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the name.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that Pleasure Island's true. I think it's family friendly. I think they only start boning because of the shit in the fan.
Yeah.
So one of the things they said in the commentary, they said before it came out, they screened it for Jimmy Buffett, and he loved it and asked for like the lyrics to some of the songs because he said he wanted he said he wanted to play Pina Colada Berg at like some of his concerts.
Oh my god, I would love to know if he actually did that.
I could see him doing it.
Yeah, I could have googled
hilarious.
it. I didn't.
Yeah,
but I'm glad that he thought it was fun and got the humor in it. Although I guess he seems like a pretty chill guy. Before they showed it James Buffett, he was like, "Fuck,
fucking
this.
hate it."
He's like that businessman
fucking making fun of parrot culture, in Margaritaville.
It's like the guy who made the Coconut Pete song that he said looks like a fucking insurance salesman. That's what Jimmy Buffett's really like,
right? Exactly.
Yeah. It's all a fucking character, man.
Now, Rolo's about to go off into the woods with the girl, and Lars introduces himself. He's the new masseuse, and the dickhead tells Lars like, "Oh yeah, get to the other side, just cut through the jungle." Yeah, just walk straight through the jungle. So now Lars just walks off through the jungle. Now we meet Penelope. She is looking nervous, looking at a map. She's lost. She's seeing monkeys running around. Jenny scares her. She knocks off the gorilla head. They have a little moment, and that's about it. It's not much happens in that scene. Actually, watching it this time, I was like, why is this in here? Then we get the two douchebags at the pool who are kind of running throughout the movie that are making all the comments about the ladies and who they're gonna bang, and oh yeah, I would so get into that.
Oh yeah,
like, do you want to get boned? That's pretty much the cadence. Yeah.
Oh no, later. Okay, all right.
Then we see the opening decapitation happen in the background behind them when we get like a wider shot and we're hearing them talking.
Yes.
That's kind of a cool moment as well.
Mm-hmm.
Lars meets Jenny and you. And this is when we first learn about his magical hands because he like touches their backs and they almost orgasm.
He's got heavenly hands.
Oh yeah,
heavenly hands. This man has studied abroad. He knows a lot of different things with his hands and technique.
So this is when also we learn Putman has a crush on Jenny, and now they are at a party. Like I guess this probably happens every night at some sort of club at the resort. And this is when we learn that Lars is a huge Coconut Pete fan. He's sort of been dropping hints. And this, when Juan goes to Coconut Pete and tells him like, "Oh, I got a girl for you. She's a fan. She saw you at this concert in like 94 or whatever.
For 14th row."
Yeah, and so then Coconut Pete goes over and says, "Hey, like I got a photographic memory. Weren't you at this concert in the 14th row?" And presumably this whisks her off. Which this, if anything, is one of those things that now is like, it's not great, but
yeah, I mean, this whole
I doubt he really would have had to do much. You know what I mean? He probably could have just walked up and been like, "Hey, I'm Coconut Pete. You like my island?"
Exactly. He didn't need to do that.
Right.
But
no,
it adds the extra flavor, I guess, for him. Like I said, that's why I feel like I guess for whatever reason I'm a little lenient on all the sex stuff, because it just seems like everyone here is so
just
okay
here to
and ready
fuck,
and willing and wanting to bone.
Oh yeah.
Putman is flirting with Jenny again. This one, Sam Levine's character comes up and says a bunch of douchey shit. He definitely says some like borderline racist stuff to Putman at this point.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Now, this is when Penelope and Juan meet. They get roped together by the fun police, and she's got a name tag, Penelope. And Juan squeezes her boob with the name tag on it. He says, Penelope, a beautiful name. And
yeah,
I've been calling, any time I see Penelope, I've been saying Penelope for 20 years now.
Oh, I mean, that's how she's referred to. Yeah. Have we gone past when Lars has to wear the sticky luge?
Yeah.
But that's all within
sweater.
this kind of...
that's all happening in this time frame.
So gross.
Yeah, because
really
he's running the luge.
I found on the ground, it's all sticky.
The ice luge or whatever.
He's got to wear the luge
pour
sweater.
alcohol down.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you have to wear the sweater to go along with it. It's, part of the costume.
Hey, why don't you put on the fucking sweater? He points to his bodyguard. He's like, "Hey, could you show him how to put on the sweater?"
Gladly. And he does. So Penelope, that actually came from it's been a joke amongst Broken Lizard for a long time when they saw Carlito's Way in theater, and an actress named Penelope something in that movie, her name came up in the credits, and somebody sitting in front of them said, "What kind of name is Penelope?" And then eventually, it got written into a movie.
For sure.
That's awesome.
Also, she tells him she goes to Oral Roberts, which is a conservative Christian university in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's a bit of trivia, which is funny considering what we see her do later in the bedroom. But also, she tells him Oral Roberts. He's like, "I do not know that. Is that like Dirty Sanchez?"
Anal something, he said.
Yeah.
Something, and then,
the second one he says is Dirty Sanchez.
Chuck, you wouldn't be into that.
Yeah. And at this part, we do see some fucking, because there's like an aquarium hot tub thing that you can see from inside the bar, and people are just fucking in it. Yeah, so you see the butt humping.
Butt humping.
Carlos steps out for a smoke, who is just like kind of a cannon fodder character. Steps out for a cigarette. We get a fake out scare because he goes trash cans that have been knocked over. He's cleaning them up. Somebody's coming behind him holding a knife, but it's just you. She's got a dirty knife that he needs to clean. And then, so she leaves, but then he gets killed for reals.
For reals.
Cut to like bonfire party on the beach. Seems fun, and they're singing ponytails, cocktails, two things that will always rock. Which is another one of my favorites. And they're just hanging out, having a great time. This is when one of the girls along the campfire makes the mistake of asking for Margaritaville. And Coconut Pete's like, I believe you mean Pina Colada Burg. She's like, no, Margaritaville. Da, da, da. It's like, I believe you mean Pina Colada Burg, a little song I wrote, like whatever he says, 7.5 fucking years before Margaritaville came out. But you won't even know that because you weren't even born yet, were you? And he goes, motherfucker, son of a bitch.
It's a sore subject.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's always been one of my favorite things. That whole meltdown.
Oh, that
motherfucker, son of a bitch.
his meltdown genuinely gives me a belly laugh.
I
every
love him
single
in this
time I
movie.
fucking
This
see
is one of my favorite, all-time favorite Bill Paxtons for sure.
Oh yeah, he's great in this.
Yeah.
100% for sure.
Mhm.
Agreed. Stamp of approval.
Dope. Got Brian's stamp of approval. Coconut Pete.
That's a
good
Brian
job.
stamp.
Coconut
Bill
Pete.
Paxton. You got the Brian stamp.
The
Cocoa
secret
Peachy.
ingredient, Bill Paxton.
Mm-hmm.
This is when we get some Lars and Jenny flirting with each other. She's clearly into him. And now Dave starts telling the story of Machete Phil at the campfire, which is clearly a story staff tells all the guests whenever they come. It's, this guy who got caught having sex with a corpse. He used to work there. And they found him doing it, and he freaked out and chopped everybody up and then chopped off his own dick and ran off into the woods. And they say now on night just like tonight, with like weather just like this or whatever, if you listen closely, you can hear, "Where's my penis? Where's my penis?" coming from in the jungle. And Putman goes, "And that boy was me." And he stands up and his pants fall down and he's got his dick tucked in behind
Pulling
him.
a Buffalo Bill and just has it tucked in.
And everybody goes, "Ah," and leaves the campfire. And then Dave stands up and his pants fall down and he's tucked back too. He's like, "You're a dick, Putman."
Yeah, that's great.
Funny trivia there. That's one of the only times they were forced to use computer graphics because Dave couldn't tuck his dick back far enough between his legs so you could still see part of the shaft, so they had to like digitally cut it out.
They digitally just added more pubic hair.
Yeah,
and kind of
you
like
gotta
blurred
remove
it,
the
and it's
shaft.
hilarious.
Yeah, you couldn't
There's just
do
too
that.
much
You have
shaft
to.
showing.
Way too much shaft.
Apparently this close, I haven't seen Terror Train. Ross, maybe, you probably wouldn't remember
Yes.
unless it's a favorite, but apparently this backstory that they give for Machete Phil is similar to Terror Train.
Very similar to Terror Train.
And apparently it's, that's intentional. It's an homage or, a reference. We see a montage of guests enjoying all the various amenities and activities with the employees. They're leading them in the different things, each specialty. We get real life Pac-Man, which looks like so much fun. Like,
Yeah, that's interesting.
It really does.
I know you don't drink, Brian. We could put water in there, but that looks like a blast. I would love to play
That'd
that.
be a good time.
Oh my god, yeah.
Um,
I love just like what's his name getting clipped and being like, a tag would have sufficed.
Yeah, the banana.
It's like, fuck you, got you.
I'm gonna fucking get you, banana. They're good friends, that guy and them, and he told him, he was like, really go after me. So it really did.
Oh, that's
that was
great.
genuine. I love this. This is when we get like cue pretzel. Pretzel, where's the pretzel? And pretzel's missing. And they find him in the shack, and pretzel is doing the watermelon from behind. He's like, occupado, bro. He's like giving him the hand to like fucking close the door.
Swatting him away.
And Dave is giving him like a put your finger in their butt motion, which we see him do again later in the movie. Apparently she was just an extra. They had like a cast of 50 extras, and they were like, who wants to do this? And like 3 girls of the 50 female extras raised their hands, and they went with her. So they send the pear to go out instead, who is ironically eating a pear. And I love that. Another line that has always just stuck with me is when he's like bummed that he has to go out. He says, "Be happy in your work, pear," before they walk off. And I don't know why, I've just always loved that. Get Killer POV. Killer puts on the pineapple hat, goes into the maze. All this maze stuff is also a Shining homage. Then we cut to Lars showing Jenny different touch points. This is when we see the heaven point, which is like on her lip, like pushing her lip up. It's such a goofy face. It makes me laugh every time. Again, also, it seems like pretty much everyone he does is an orgasm, but he's got a couple others later that are more useful, I guess.
Oh, sure. That orgasm one's pretty useful.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, they get interrupted because a parasailing person crashes in a shack next to him, and it's Carlos, and naughty Carlos is carved into his chest. And this is also when Cliff the Pear is discovered. This when Putman rose up in the banana thing. They're like, "What is it, boy? Is Timmy stuck in a well again?" They start like following him through because he can't talk. They're like, "Follow the banana." I don't.
Follow the banana.
Again, stupid stuff that's always just delighted me. So now this is sort of, this step in a horror, probably beginning of Act 2 when everybody knows, or at least all the staff know, hey, there's a killer. Everything's changed. We got to figure out what's going on. Sam shows them the activities board. It has all the victims' names crossed out who've been dead and a cryptic clue written at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
The staff are trying to figure out what the clue is, and they all meet up. They go to the bar for like drinks to try and figure it out. And we get a Jaws reference where the like sucking of an empty drink through a straw is what quiets everybody for Hank, the security, to come down. And they're like, fucking Hank, this guy, like, what the fuck is he gonna do? I've served him 20 beers a day for 10 years. You think he's gonna do something? He's like, listen, Junior, like, when you've shoved your guts back in your pocket and had to walk 20 clicks back to a first aid tent after you got in a knife fight with like guerrilla drug lords, then you can tell me about whatever. So anyway, it makes his presence known that he's a badass. And I love it's MC Gainey, who's an character actor who I am a big fan of as well.
Mick Gainey.
Yeah, Mick Gainey. And now cut to them. They're having a big bonfire beach party, but it's SOS, which, we see from the top, but the guests presumably just assume that it's fire. Mm-hmm. They're also doing a piñata to try and see who's left-handed because the slash was left to right, even though I've seen it enough to know that that's not, it was right to left when we see it happen. This one, Penelope is super into Juan. She like tries to get him to leave the campfire, but he's worried she's a killer now because she's acting kind of crazy.
Sus.
Super sus. Everybody is a fucking red herring in this. They really play that trope up well of just like hitting it hard. Everybody's a suspect.
Although they do really, with Penelope character, they do lay it on pretty thick because she looks. It's really funny how like
she's bonkers.
Crazy she acts.
Absolutely. She's great. The actress. She does a good job of that. Now, for whatever reason, you and Hank have gone off on their own and they're on the beach and the killer pops up and Hank's gonna protect you from the killer because he's like, something about the type of guy to ship in an apple pie, but you just shit in an apple pie that knows how to shit back or something like that. He's trying to give some tough guy speech and it's ridiculous. Sure. And then immediately just gets his throat slashed and killed. You runs off, gets in the golf cart, can't get it going. Another classic, trope. Finally does get it going and starts going super slow and the killer just walks up next to her with the machete and gets her.
I just like how he just like walks
probably one of my favorite.
Her.
Yeah, that's
for a second. Oh god, it's so good.
That's a great comedy moment, but also one that's playing on a horror trope. Where a lot of it is just comedy for comedy's sake.
Yes,
this is where it blends.
Mix it very well here.
Okay, so
Sam always. Oh, sorry.
What?
Did your camera shift? Have you always been in a Dutch angle? Did we think Sam go into a horror movie all of a sudden?
I think tonight I may have been, but it's possible that it shifted as well.
Oh boy. Watch out. All I'm saying is watch out.
Now we're about to get into the part that you guys didn't see that I did see. So should I just skip this or I can't because I don't know what is cut. So we'll just go with it. So this when the Blotton's body from the beginning washes up on the shore in mainland Costa Rica, and there's these detectives like looking at it and looking off towards the water. That's all we get at that time. Now the staff is all together again trying to figure out the clues. Lars had realized that they were all from this one song, the Ballad of Bongo the Stone Crab, I think. Or no, Naughty Cow is what... I don't know. It all mixes together a little bit, but it's from a song from one of his albums. What is it, like Sex and Sea Shanties or something?
Yes. I love when they revisit it. He's like, I don't even fucking remember making this album.
It was the 70s.
It was the 70s. Like, what?
Exactly. He's like, I had no idea what I was talking about. He's trying to like remember what it means because the
meaning of it and shit.
Bongo the stone crab got high as a kite and fell and bumped his head. He was like, shit, I don't know. Naughty Cow was this underwater cowboy, and he was trying to, yeah, it's just like all nonsense. And one of the songs on, some of the song titles on the back, I don't have them all. I got one of them from the notes and one of them they mentioned in the commentary. In the commentary, they said one of the songs is called Tequila Mockingbird. And then
Tequila Mockingbird.
This one perfect. Along the same lines is I'd tell you, but then I'd have tequila.
I like that one.
That was pretty good.
And then Juan bursts in and he's like, you and Hank are dead. And Coconut Pete's like, what'd you just say? He's like, you and Hank are fucking dead. He's like, yeah, are you threatening me? Listen, you hairless, like, lapdog. He's like, no, just come with me. You know, that with her name being you and being a Broken Lizard movie, we'd get one of those jokes at some point.
Absolutely.
They used it well, I think.
Is this before or after they get to the end of the song where it's like, we're all gonna die, everybody dies, and he just starts maniacally laughing at the end of the fucking song.
Part of the song. It's great.
That is this is after that, but yeah, that is great. That song. Here's something that's funny. I always thought the song was Naughty Cow because it's all these like underwater animals, but it's Naughty Cal, C-A-L. I didn't realize that till subtitles recent.
Oh, dip.
Subtitles. They'll get you there.
They'll get you there.
So now the police arrive. The detectives come.
Okay, interesting.
They think that they're interviewing people. Juan becomes a suspect, which we find out later is because he's the goat fucking thing. But they talk to him in Spanish, and even in Spanish, they don't give it away. But it just, makes him more of a suspect to all the staff. And they also establish the staff as being suspects. The whole reason they're there is to be like, look, the way all these deaths happened, it'd have to be a staff member to know the island, know these places, and know to do all these things. Then we get a scene of Sam like getting jump scared, checking all these empty like changing rooms, and then a monkey jumps out again, and then he gets surprised by the cops. And they're like, hey, listen, we see you're the law enforcement around here. We need you to be our eyes and ears. And like, do you have anything, like, can you tell us anything? He's like, I've got some working theories, but nothing concrete. I'll let you know. And then they leave and he looks himself in the mirror and crosses fun off of his badge. So it just says police. Then they go to leave, and when they get on the boat cord has been cut, so they just drift off. And then they realize the floor of the boat is covered in gasoline, and somebody starts shooting flaming arrows at the boat. And meanwhile, all the guests have been gathered on the dock because the plan was to be like, they were finally going to tell them there was a killer on the island. But now when everybody's there, now they're seeing this happen. So they just think this is some kind of show or something. So eventually a flaming arrow hits them, and the crowd fucking goes nuts, loving it. But so they end up not telling them because of this thing, because they're not going to be rescued anymore because the cops blow up. So now they go to this fashion show, which I'm assuming it just cuts to this, which is like another party they're having.
Yes. The fashion show, because it's Wednesday runway
fashion
show or whatever he said. Yeah.
I love that are all things that you can buy in the gift shop.
Well, yeah. Right. Poncho, $19.99 in the gift shop.
Good job.
I forgot to mention it earlier, but in a party previously, Putman had found a record that was like signed to Dave. Sorry, I couldn't do more about your parents, because Dave, the DJ, is Coconut Pete's nephew. So there's like been stuff going on with Putman suspecting Dave with that. So more
that's
red
when we see
stuff.
like another
There's like a newspaper
Spanish
clipping.
fly fishing.
Yeah, he's like, it's like Spanish fly fishing is the record. Yeah, and he's like, she's like, there's a woman bending over, and he's got like a fishing pole that's like hooked her bikini bottom that he's starting to pull off. Yeah, so bad.
And it's sea shanties and wet panties.
Oh, that's what it is. I love the back of that cover too. Just a picture of like him holding a joint in a tie-dye shirt and like a bottle of Jack Daniels, just like smiling, looking so wasted. It's like such a spot on character. I feel like in Florida, I've seen so many people like that. It's a very
Yes,
that
absolutely.
is more Florida
There are
man
people
to
that-
me
yes.
than what people think of as Florida man.
The meth head Florida man
Right,
type of
yeah.
swamp guy.
Right, totally. To me, it's more
I
like
getcha.
the beach.
Yeah, this is what we grew up
Yeah.
around. Yeah, beach dude. Captain Ron.
Yeah, totally.
Very.
So Lars and Putman are going into the jungle to look for the killer. And Jenny kisses Lars before he leaves, which Putman is not happy about. This one we get Coconut Pete for some reason teaching two guys how to make Coconut Pete's paella. I was like,
Yeah, I don't
can
get
you
why
guess
this
what
is
I
happening.
love this scene though. It's one of my all-time favorites. It's like, can you guess the ingredient? Coconut Pete's paella. Can you guess the special ingredient? Coconut. Yeah. And then he goes,
Eddie Money doesn't have to deal with this
"You
kind
think
of
Eddie
shit."
Money has to deal with this shit. I love that.
Just starts freaking
Flipping out and throwing everything
He just-
anywhere.
oh
and
my
the
God.
guy seems so amused by it.
I like that they double down because, like, when they sort of were peeping in on him, he's still like slap chopping and just screaming at these guys as he's making all the
Just
food.
losing it.
He's slapping his problems away.
So Penelope showed up being super freaky and weird again, and they're like, "All right, she's a suspect. You're gonna go in the
She
room
has like
with
a
her."
tray of octopus.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it's an aphrodisiac. What my first thought was when I saw that tray of octopus? Which one of these is the dick arm? Anytime
Oh.
I ever see
Which one's the dick
octopus for food,
you
that's
wonder
what I
which
think
one
now.
of those is the
And
dick arm.
it's gotten to the point where I'm pretty sure that's what my wife thinks too. Whenever she sees octopus as food, she's like, one of those is at least one of those.
Oh,
is a
what
dick
if-
arm. What if
what
it's
if you
all
ended
dick
up
arm?
getting a whole plate
For
of
all
dick
I know,
arms?
it's a whole plate of dick arm.
That's the gamble you're taking. You
Maybe
might
that's
get
why it's
no
an
dick arms.
aphrodisiac, though. You need the dick arm.
Ooh, what if you got a plate of full dick arms? Like
Oh my
you're
God,
horned up. Like
yeah.
you go to the doctor after
If
if you have
your
a
doctor
Russian
has-
monster longer than 4 hours.
Exactly. You had a plate. It was all dick arm. That's what happened.
Well, doctor, I went out with my wife and we decided to get an aphrodisiac. We heard octopus is a good thing. I think we got a plate full of dick arm.
Oops, all dicks.
Oops, all dicks.
It'll get you there.
It will get you there. So they're gonna go back. They go into the closet. A couple of them, the fun police, the DJ, and Jenny, the aerobics instructor, all hide in the closet because they're gonna burst out when she tries to kill Juan.
Mhm.
But when they get in there, she says she's got this big secret for him, and that she's a gymnast. She takes off her top and does all this
like-
fucking jumping around and gymnast shit.
It looks like she has that photo. She looks like she's like an Olympic gymnast.
Totally. She's at least won a medal.
Yes, she's. Yes, exactly. She has
Yeah.
a medal, but like her gymnast, the thing that's great. Okay, yeah. She takes off her top, does like these like back twirl things, and then flips
Yes.
over a few times. Does this handstand on the bed while she's doing a split in the air, and then proceeds
And
to
then
Flop
flip
over
forward and
onto his
nail,
crotch.
flop right onto his crotch.
Yeah, with her
It's
crotch.
Yes.
So in the commentary, they're like,
precision.
once it was time to film it, we are like, wow, how did we write it this way? How in the hell are we going to film this? And whoever the actress gymnast they hired did it with no problem whatsoever. It was very simple.
Oh, that's so funny.
Wow.
Yeah. So obviously Juan at this point is like super stoked on it. And so he's going to have sex with her.
Well, it's like you have this time lapse where it feels like it's hours in
Yeah.
the closet, where they just continuously keep on
Mhm.
banging, and then she goes to use the restroom. They run out, and he opens the door. He's like, "I feel that I gotta
He's
pump
like,
her
yeah, I
for
think I need a few
information
more
for
hours to pump her for information." Yeah.
Nation.
And she's like, "What?
And
You
he's
want me
like-
to
it's like,
just
God
hang out in
damn
the
it.
closet while you? How would you like to hang out in the closet and watch me have sex for hours?" And he's like, "That sounds great," or whatever. Yeah,
Great.
But while they're doing this, Putman and what's his name, masseuse dude, are like sleeping on
Lars-
the beach.
Yeah, they're in the jungle, and Putman put just a silly thing of him. You know, they think each other's their
A
suspect,
tense moment.
but yeah, Putman has like this giant bag like a shower cap that he puts over his dreads before he goes to sleep.
Yes.
It's just very amusing. I love that touch for that character.
Well, because he's pulling it out, and it's almost like he's going to use it to
kill
suffocate.
him, right?
Yeah,
like it's a bag he's going to kill him with,
and then
right? And then he just puts it over his own hair. Yeah, love it. And then Putman also has a nightmare that that Dave, the DJ, is the killer, but then he's the killer.
Mm-hmm. And then he starts like kissing himself.
Yeah, and then they wanted it to be like an old British rock star. It wasn't going to be him. It was going to be an old British rock star as that character that kisses him at the end, and it was going to say, "Give me some brown sugar." And they tried to get Mick Jagger, and they were like, what the fuck were we thinking? Like, the Super Troopers like had some success, so they were like, oh yeah, we'll write Mick Jagger into this part where he kisses me.
Fucking movie.
yeah. Good luck.
Like Pete Townsend wouldn't do it. Yeah, it was very funny to hear them talk about it.
That would have been a good Jimmy Buffett cameo. That right there. Throw Buffett
that would have
into
been
it.
a great Jimmy
Oh
Buffett
my god,
cameo.
that would have been the Jimmy Buffett. Yeah,
It's one of the few like there's not a whole lot of actually good behind the scenes because mostly they're just doing bits. Like
Sure.
it's just
Riffin and Raffin.
exactly,
With
which is fun on its
Riff-Raff is
own,
there.
but
Right.
then we see Coconut Pete getting drunk on the beach. He really is just kind of losing it at this point. Lars wakes up, or Putman wakes up, and Lars is gone. But while he was gone, he had found the boat. Sam and Dave had found a shrine to Coconut Pete in Lars's closet. So they take him to some kind of
all
maybe
of
like
those
a drum
fucking
tank. I don't know what
photos.
it'd be. Yeah, with like
It
pictures.
says
of
drum
those
tank
who
on
just-
it.
Oh, does it?
yeah.
Yeah, all those.
That shrine is
Yeah.
hilarious. It's just a bunch of photos of Coconut Pete, and then just fucking Lars's head, just like
Cut out with scissors and
in circle,
taped.
just wheat pasted onto it. Ah,
Very fun. That was actually one of the first thing he said after when they first get to the island, and he introduces himself. He was like, "That was amazing. Does he do that every day?" Brother's like, "You're fucking kidding me, right?"
Yeah, Don't give me.
They lock him in the drunk tank. This was a scene that was cut, but Jenny gets ready sexily to take a shower and then decides against it and goes to the pool, which is just playing on a classic horror trope. That's why when she gets to the pool, she's like, "Hey, you all are gonna be here for a while, right?" They're like, "Oh yeah, sure." And
Like,
she dives
yeah.
in, and somebody runs by, is like, "Whoever catches me
Butt
Yeah,
naked.
like-
I love that part.
gets like free shot or something," and everybody just gets up and chases out. So when she pops up, she is by herself.
Everyone's gone.
Yeah, so
That's
quick.
By herself.
Fantastic.
I love that he just runs in. He goes, "Anybody catches me gets free drink," and he just turns around and points to his own naked
Yeah.
ass, and then just runs off.
She is now in there by herself, but we get a scare. Somebody's in there with her. Oh, it's Sam Levine being... Apparently, he told them he was happy to have this role because even though it was a nerd, it was a mean nerd. He had kind of been typecast as like sort of a nice guy
nice
geek.
guy
So
nerd.
this at least gave him like
Yeah.
a different,
Something
yeah,
to do.
just
Yeah, sure.
anything being different. So they're talking, but the killer is at the pool holding a TV. She gets out just in time as he throws it in, but Sam Levine gets fried.
Now that's what I call service.
Yeah.
Well, Sam Levine did feel something like sweeping by his legs a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit.
He's like, "Oh,
But
no,
don't
seriously.
worry, it was just
Oh,
his
what was that?
massive dong.
Sorry,
My
or whatever.
massive, my
It's
massive
just my
cock.
giant cock. Yeah. Something brushed against his
Nice.
leg.
Nice one.
Yeah.
That probably would have worked if the killer didn't show up.
Oh, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I love at some point we find out Jenny has had sex with like almost all the other staff members because Putman's like, "For God's sake, Jenny, am I the only one?" I love it. And again, it's just sort of open and cool. It's not like salacious that she had sex with all these other people. It's just kind of way of the island. It's not like shameful, I should say.
It's just that fucking pelican life.
Yeah, dude.
Pelican heads, man.
Pellheads. All right. So Jenny, Sam, and Putman are like, well, it couldn't have been Lars if he's been locked up. So they go to free him, but he's missing. So now Dave, Sam, Jenny,
How did he get out of there?
right?
Out of a
'Cause
tiny
it's
window.
Tiny window. but he studied all sorts of stuff. I kind of
Well, we'll find out.
yeah. Did I skip that part? I hope not.
No, it comes up next.
It's coming up
It comes
next.
up soon.
All right. So Dave, Jenny, they're now everybody's accusing everyone of being the killer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They go to Coconut Pete's office and accidentally like trip something that was set up. So Coconut Pete, who I think was already dead, comes swinging through, crashing through a window, breaking onto the desk. Everybody's again accusing each other more. This one, Juan admits to what he had done, which was fucked a goat is his big secret.
I was young.
Yeah, exactly. It was like that. There wasn't.
But he used a condom.
Yeah,
You said that was against your
Oh,
rules.
yeah,
We find out
exactly.
that Jenny had sex with him because she's like, you said that.
Oh yeah, this is I think when we find out that she's maybe that everybody's had sex with her, but Putman. Oh yeah, because Jenny has some funny line about having had sex with Coconut Pete. This is when Putman accuses Dave. He's like, but what you don't know is that like Dave.
His parents were trampled during a
one of
concert.
Coconut Pete's concerts, and they're like, everyone knows that.
Everyone
Like,
knows that.
It's terrible that you would mention
Thanks for
it.
bringing up a sore subject.
I
Yeah.
love that so much.
And then that's when it's revealed that he loved Coconut Pete and that Pete had actually signed the island over to him so he could go back on tour because he's starting to
Yeah, it was like, how many of you actually like knew him? He was like, did you know that he was uncircumcised or that he smelled of oranges? Apparently both of those lines were put in there just to see like if anybody was actually like looking over their shoulder at what they were doing, like script supervisor type stuff, because they thought those lines would get challenged and they did not. I don't know why the oranges thing would, but so they just stuck with it anyway. They all come up with a plan and then they immediately all split up to go do their own things. Dave is just partying by himself, fucking doing turntables, getting super fucked up, and he
knows where the generator's at. Because all the
because he
power's
stole
out.
a generator. Yeah.
and he gets macheted. And this is when we get Ross's background, his head spinning on a turntable.
Ooh, maybe that's a new bit. We'll start for the
What's Ross's
club
background?
members. Yeah.
What's
Guess
Ross's
what's Ross's
background?
background? And then it's like we hit it. Hey,
I
surprise.
do like that.
Hey, we got it.
I like that.
It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse word of the day. It's like what's
That's
the
what I was
background?
thinking. Yeah.
Which I think to me is one of the most effective gore gags in the movie.
Oh yeah, I would say it's
for
the
me,
goriest.
is the head.
The other bit which you guys want to have seen is when the detectives come to the island, they're looking at Hank's body and he had his throat slit, and the detective kind of like reaches in the slit to pull out his staff necklace. The actually reaching in there is, I think, the nastiest, even nastier than that, but it's not in it. So
Yeah.
So his head spinning around. Do you know anything about those effects here?
no, I do not.
Oh, okay. So I was curious if that's
Because I feel like it's just him spinning.
yes, it
underneath
has to be. It has
Could
to be
be.
because I feel like his eyes move at some points or something. Like he,
It was
Yes.
very
like
low
you'll see
budget.
from
I know
from
that.
each cycle, his eyes will be in a different position. I'm like, oh, I think that's just him in there, like spinning
Just
around.
going just spinning around. I also love when they bump the fucking record player, so it just goes, gonna die, gonna die, gonna die.
Yeah, no, I this is a fun scene. All really effective. Love how it
yeah.
looks.
Now Jenny and Lars are in Jenny's room and they hide. They think they have to hide from the killer. This is actually when Lars uses his like special breath technique so he can get small enough to hide under the bed. And
Why don't you do that all the time? Is that a fucking factor?
It was great. So then prize the killer, but the killer is Putman. Oh god, it's Putman, but he's not. Putman's not the killer. He was actually there just to steal some panties.
Yes. Well, what is it? They took some of Jenny's S&M fuzzy
handcuffs and
handcuffs
handcuff.
and handcuff his ankle to the bed.
This is at like so. Whenever like, do you remember when like kinky sex? It was always like a joke and like. The device of the feather being pulled out was always one that was funny to me, of using that in some sort of kinky sex role of like feathering
Yes. Oh.
feathering someone.
Tickling.
Sounds ridiculous.
Yes. It's
to be using in that situation, but whatever. Teach their own.
Totally.
I'm not trying to say
I'm assuming
feather
Broken Lizard
dusters out
started
there,
with a double-headed donger and was like, all right, you know what? We're probably just going to have to use this feather.
but like, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's some sort of level of like.
It's also just a classic trope, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, at that time, I feel like I don't see the feather pull out as much anymore.
I feel like the
aspect.
fuzzy handcuffs were in the same boat. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Well,
Now it's a full on fucking 18-inch dong that would have
dildo. Yeah.
pulled out.
Well, that's what's really funny is that this is what was not taboo, but like fuzzy handcuffs and feathers were were under the bed in 2004, which now the fuzzy handcuffs have their own shadow box on the wall next to the thing, and then the really nasty stuff is underneath the bed. Like, this is like, in today's standards, very vanilla.
Sure, totally.
Oh yeah, easily.
Now Putman gets killed, sliced. Jenny and Lars hide in the bathroom. They hide in the shower, and the killer starts walking in the bathroom. He's approaching the shower curtain, but he just pulls the towel off, and you're like, whew, thank goodness.
I do like...
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, beforehand, where like the killer's coming up, and then he's like, the racket, balls, give me the racket and balls. Yeah. And he hits it, and it pings off of his dick, and he goes, oh,
Machete Phil.
I knew it. Machete Phil.
Because Putman uses...
And then like...
he's the tennis instructor, so he's using the racket and balls to fend himself.
I do like where he hucks the machete through him, where he's fully impaled by it, and then you think he's dead, and then that whole audio goes, I'll fight you. Oh, it's you? I know who that is.
Oh, yeah, without, like, saying that's...
I'll try to fight you. Game, set, and then just like...
I think his character is so funny. I like it. I think I like it more now than before, just because it's, like, so over the top.
He's probably one of my favorite characters in this.
Juan is my favorite character, though. He's always been my favorite. So, but I love it. Yeah, he takes the towel, and we're like, oh, okay, we're safe. And then the towel gets thrown back over, just like drenched in blood, right over Lars's head.
His face.
Oh God, I love that so much. It's one of my favorites.
I love the outtakes at the end, like during the end credits, trying to get that shot with the fucking bloody towel. There's like 5 or 6 shots during the credits where they were trying to get it, and then one was completely overshooting it, where the towel just draped completely over the camera.
I didn't see the outtakes.
Oh yeah, at the end, yeah, I saw that.
Are they like
fun?
Are there some regular credits for a little while first?
Yeah, and then the outtakes and stuff like that, because it kind of hits him, and then it hits him and Lars and Jenny at the same time, and they're like, God damn it!
Somehow, I can't remember how we're here, but we're in a club, and all the lights in the club turn on to reveal it's been like decorated with bodies, sort of Jason Voorhees
all
style.
The corpses are in the rafters.
Yeah. Everybody that's been getting offed.
We're all gonna fucking die.
Yeah. We see Sam in the bathhouse getting attacked, so they run to save him. Our remaining folks, Juan, Lars, Jenny, and Penelope, all rush to save him. They find Sam's body in a mud bath, so the last mud bath must be where the killer is. They machete it. There's nobody in there, and Sam pops up and grabs Lars and has the machete to his neck. Yeah.
I love the fact that he impales the mud bath, realizes there's no one in there, and looks at them and goes, you need to run.
Oh, yeah.
That's when, like, Sam's eyes pop up, and it's like,
I love the look of him covered in mud, too, with the, bright white eyes and bright white teeth. It's always a fun contrast.
I love
so,
this build-up where he's got him at knife point, and then fucking... God damn it. I know you're going to get into it, but the explanation of why he did it.
Oh, no, say it.
At first. Oh, dude, I love it where he's like, why are you doing this? He goes, well, it's because he had my weed. And then he said he didn't have my weed. And I thought, like, really pissed me off because they're like in the background. He goes, wait, no, hold
really?
On. No, that's not it.
Oh, no. Yeah. No, not really. It was,
I'm sorry. That was... He goes, that was very insulting, but that wasn't the reason why. The real reason why is because they signed over the fucking island.
Yeah, was giving it to Dave, and Dave, was
was going to run into the ground.
He was the one who should have got it. And this is also where he says, I'm not Machete Phil, I'm Machete Sam. And again, that is been a moniker of
Boom.
mine for a long time.
Forever.
Is this also when he's like, and I have a dick?
I have a dick. Yeah. I'm not Machete Phil. I have a dick. Yeah. God, what? I'm skipping so many lines from this movie.
That's, yeah.
Because I don't want to just be quoting it the whole time, you know?
Right.
But I still want to do it justice. It's a tough balance. Lars grabs his hand. And so I did kind of miss earlier where we learned the other things Lars can do with his orgasm hands, because he makes a girl fall asleep and makes a guy like pee himself. But either way, it doesn't matter now, because he grabs Sam, who's holding him, and makes him orgasm. He says something to him. He's like, I can only keep him coming for a few more minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And the whole time he's like,
So this gives time for the others to escape as they're running towards the club. While this is when just absolute chaos is happening now with the guest members, because they know there's a killer. They had seen the reveal in the club. That's what happens with all those bodies there. So running everywhere, fucking everywhere.
Pretzels are fucking watermelons.
Yeah, which are
fucking
those are those
are
two
the
guys.
two dudes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that are always making the sex jokes throughout the movie. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But Penelope at this point gets taken by one of them, just like picked up and run off with. And Juan and Jenny end up going in the club alone, but they hear Penelope outside, so they open the door, but she's not there. They close it again and turn around, and Penelope is in the hot tub aquarium thing getting drowned by Sam. So Juan takes a axe and runs up and hits it until it breaks and saves her.
smashes it.
Just when it all appears to be over, hold on, breaks it with an axe. Sam seems to have the upper hand, but he gets macheted by Lars. Lars,
yes, another decent impalement.
Surprise, Lars is here and he saves the day. And they're like, oh, wow, all right, that's all over. Blah, blah, blah. They're going through the jungle, I think. And just when they think it's over, Sam's after him again. And they go to the cliff and have to cliff dive to escape. This is when Juan tells them, like, you got to clench your butthole because the water, if you don't, the water can jet up your asshole
Go
and
up your
pulverize
sphincter
your intestines.
And it was like numb out your, paralyze your intestinal tract.
Pulverize your intestines is the line, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the girl does gymnastics off. He does a great leap. The other, Jenny, does okay. And
That is my
yeah,
girlfriend.
and then when they pop out of the water, Jenny's like, ow, my asshole.
Asshole.
And they come up with a plan. They see the boat that doesn't have a motor, but there's a sunken boat, or it doesn't have a propeller. So they're going to get the propeller, get it to the other boat. They go to swim to the other boat while Juan swims down into the water to get the propeller. And while he's down in there, we see Sam, a cool underwater shot of him sort of coming in the water behind him from him bursting or, following them. Juan gets to them with the propeller and he comes to get out of the water, but he's been slit. And he's sorry, but
that belly slit's pretty gnarly,
that's one of the
too.
better.
Like when they pull him out of the water.
And
I feel like he could have survived that.
Yeah, totally. But it's just,
They just let him.
there's a lot of these belly slits seemed survivable, and but it is gnarly. Anyway, he doesn't survive it, and he tells her, he's like, but perhaps I could get one last kiss after telling Penelope loves her, and she goes to kiss him. He's like, no, I meant you and Jenny. I always
Kissed
wanted
each other.
to see that. And then he drifts down into the water dead. Sam attacks again, but he ends up getting kind of tied up in the rope that's tied up in the dock, and they start doing loops around the dock to sort of tie him around it with the rope, and he gets sort of pressed against real hard, and he seems to have died. But oh no, he didn't die. He tries to go after him, so they do it some more, and then boom, he splits in half. And they're like, oh, good, we did it. But oh no, Sam's upper half is jumped out of the water and is now trying to get Lars, and Lars sort of spins his upper half and throws it off into the water. Finally, it is over. And Lars, Jenny, and Penelope rise off into the sunset as Machete Sam's legs come kicking into the foreground.
Swimming towards him.
And the end. And that is Club Dread.
Dreadful.
Yeah. It's very dreadful. The last, just those fucking disembodied legs flopping in the water, just going towards the
So
boat.
goofy.
Didn't get a full like haha, but it did that like
I love it. One of my favorites. So much of this movie is, again, there's so many lines that I didn't even mention. Part of it is just the sort of one-liners and throwaway. There's so many hidden lines. There aren't for me anymore, even not having watched this movie and however fucking long it's been. I didn't really pick up on anything new.
Sure.
What's your favorite one-liner? Throw it in the Discord.
I'm assuming none of us have any final thoughts that before moving on to the crematorium.
Yeah, I think we thoroughly cut this movie in half and had it swimming towards shore.
Give me that bum. Crematorium of questions. Let's find them out. The answers.
Let's find out the answers.
How would we survive this one? So this is in the Shuttle Pleasure Island, not Coconut Pete's. We are so far beyond Shuttle Fest at this point. We have our resort.
I think probably the most logical one would just be to stay in a group. All the shit pops off in all these, like, where everybody splits up.
Just tell everybody right
so
away.
Everybody just stays in a giant room unless someone goes psycho head to head. Like, there's real no,
Yeah, group numbers are definitely your best bet. I think.
Run a well-oiled machine, have the proper people set up in place in case we have to leave that are going to take over, so we don't feel that any employee is kind of like upset about the trajectory of our resort. Maybe as long as we're disgruntling any employees. We just got to be
good idea. That's a really good point. I would say honestly, just have a secret stash of sea-doos, just some jet skis hidden somewhere that if shit pops off, we could just easily just try to get off the island.
Secret sea-doo.
Mm-hmm.
Secret sea-doo.
That's it. Forget what I said. Secret sea-doo.
Yeah,
we'll disgruntle anyone we want.
It's the name of the band.
Go to the secret dues.
Secret doo.
All right. How do you make the film gooier? Just make all the kills gooier.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs to be like. I think it could be grosser, I guess, but there's a way to do gore funny, and I think you just go in that direction with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Have some fun blood spray and all that.
Yeah, I think you can show more of the kills, show some stuff and do stuff that way.
But I would only want it to be gooier for comedic effect, not for like horror effect, if that makes sense. Villain level 1 through 10, power level 1 through 5, iconography 1 through 5, put them together. It's low. It's very low.
It's low, but it's also like if Sam gets cut in half and his disembodied legs are swimming towards a boat, does this make him like Highlander unstoppable?
Yeah, what happened to his top half? Did it just sink? Is he trying to swim his way up and he come back
presumably, up? Yeah, his top half is swimming around too. So
that's where it's like, I think the iconography is low.
But it's an iconography
like
super
one
low.
or
I'd
two,
give it like
if that. Yeah.
One. Yeah. That was something that's made me think about just now, because as villain level was coming up, is the iconography is actually pretty cool. I think the killer mask and poncho and machete and stuff looks kind of cool. We just don't get it much. Even when we do see it, it's not really featured compared to like other slashers. You know what I mean? I feel like other slashers get a lot more screen time. But like I think 1 for iconography. Power level, he might be unkillable, but he doesn't seem to be too strong or anything else.
I was gonna say like 3, maybe.
What, like a 3-5 there?
Sure.
Or is that too high? 3. So 3 and 1 for a 4 out of 10.
That works for me.
That works for me. Should it have a sequel, and what is your sequel? I would have loved to have had a sequel. I would love for them to see. It's tough though, because I like all these characters so much, and because it's a horror movie, there's very few you can bring.
I would say
back.
Same cast, but make a Machete Phil prequel. So like this crazy story that they tell. Just
yeah. Because and it's Broken Lizard. Like I'm fine for them to play different characters. My main thing is Coconut Pete, and you can't even have Coconut Pete anymore.
That's why I'm going like prequel. You know what I mean? Like, I think
you go. I go sequel, but you can bring Coconut Pete back in some, like, you make it fun in a weird way. He can still be a character in some aspect.
He just gets like a massive amount of
memories through whatever,
Well,
through
yeah.
something.
Or he just
You'd
gets a
still have
massive
it,
amount
but
of
I think-
plastic surgery done, so they that you can get the different actor in there. It'd be like he got a lot of work done because he went on that supergroup tour.
Well, he's dead.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why it's a different actor.
That's why it's a different actor. It's like that's why like you introduce Coconut Pete as a different actor.
You bring in like Kurt Russell, and you're like, yeah,
And
I
some work
had like a bunch of facial reconstruction.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, something. Yeah, they'll do something.
Why not?
Would you buy the soundtrack or score on vinyl? I would buy it because I know it'd have Coconut Pete songs on there, and I really like this movie.
I am not a huge fan of some of the 2000 kind of soundtracky scores, but if they came out with a Coconut Pete actual album, like if like from the movie, would be fucking. I would buy that in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me?
I can't imagine what else would be on there other than Coconut Pete
Right.
songs. Like I can't think of any other music in the movie. Is anything action figure worthy? Not particularly. I mean, I would like stuff because I like this movie. Coconut Pete really would be my number one thing.
You could do. You know how they have those like not spring loaded, but the rubber band loaded armed action figures. You could have the Putnam one that just has the like racket action, so you could just have him like you know
right
yeah.
at Putnam. Totally.
I mean, I'll take the whole mask slasher outfit as an action figure.
Oh my yeah.
The killer. And what merch or prop would you want from the film?
I'll take the machete.
I'll take the mask.
Take it.
I'll take one short
Yeah.
shorts.
Actually,
Nice.
I also would get every single one of Pete's albums. Every one that they physically hold,
Oh.
I would totally
Oh, yeah.
have those in a fucking frame.
Absolutely. All
Yeah.
the Coconut Pete albums, no doubt. That's good. That's really good. All right. Well, we're here already. Holy smokes. That brings us to our ratings. Let's pull out our machetes and cut off our fingers, because it is time. On this show, we use a rating scale of 0 to 5 fingers. Each finger represents a different quality about a movie. You can chop off a quarter finger, half a finger, 3/4 of a finger, a whole finger. That's brand new. If you're a longtime listener, you know that is a change. We are now allowing quarter fingers.
We've been talking about it. We've been flirting about it.
And we're doing it. These ratings are intended to be subjective on how we feel about the movie. Does not matter whether or not the movie is objectively good or bad. I'm going to start with the person I'm most curious about, which is Ross.
All right. So engaging. I think this go around, I was engaged. You know what? I'm just going to amply use our brand new scoring thing. 0.75. 0.75. I think it's, they really do bank on the whodunit aspect of this up until the very end, which is great. It is kind of one of those on the rewatch. That's why it loses the quarter for me, because if you know who it is, it just kind of like I'm engaged, but I've also seen it. I've also seen it a bunch, so it's kind of have that like I know who it is. Sticky. Sticky's gonna get a 0.5 for me because there are so many funny one-liners. I did not remember a single one-liner until I was watching the movie. And then I was like, oh, yeah. Haha.
Totally.
Oh, yeah. That one. Oh, yeah. And then, it's just rapid-fire comedy. You know what I mean? T-Shirtable. T-Shirtable's going to get... Oh, man. T-Shirtable's going to get a 0.5 for me. I do enjoy... I think there'd be some really fun aspects. If you had a Coconut Pete crew shirt, would be hilarious. Would be fucking awesome. Or a tour shirt. Any Coconut Pete shirt would just be fan-fucking-tastic. I just didn't feel like... It would have to be something in the universe of Club Dread that I would wear, but I wouldn't wear a Club Dread shirt. Does that make sense?
Like
a
the
poster or the characters.
right.
Like I would just, it'd have to be some kind of like weird fucking torch, like, Coconut Pete tour shirt or something like that.
Resort shirt.
Cockles. Cockles is going to get a 0.5. I think it's good. But it's a weird one, is that like for me I don't know. It's the comedy. There's certain lines I really like about this, but there's certain aspects or certain comedy in this that just lays real flat for me. So like, and I like the horror stuff. So it's like this really weird one where it's like the horror stuff is good, but then some of the comedy just really just doesn't do it for me. So it's like, it's like the cockles are there. It's just, I don't know. It's weird. It's a comedy horror that I just, is rewatchable is going to get, man, I want to, again, 0.5. It's almost a 0.25 just because I realized that like it's been literally since 2008 since I've actually seen this movie. And I feel like after watching it 2 or 3 times for this podcast, I don't know really when I'm going to watch this again. Like if I'm doing like maybe a Broken Lizard movie marathon would be kind of fun, but it would probably be like the last one on the list. Like it's fun. Like I'd almost do Slam and Salmon before this.
Oh, what's your favorite? I love Slam and Salmon.
Yeah. I mean, OG Super Troopers is great. I think Beer Fest is really fun. But it's weird. Like out of all the Broken,
I actually don't particularly like Super Troopers is like my least favorite, which I know is not common.
So on Rewatchable, it sounds weird because like this almost ventures into like our Patreon exclusive non-horror picks, is that I would pick almost any other Broken Lizard movie before Club Dread. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
So what is that?
So is it 0.25?
I'm gonna do 0.5. I'll be gracious with it and do 0.5.
That gives you a 2.75. Never had one of those before. Rybran, lay it on me. What did you?
It's weird because a 2.75 to me feels low for this. Like I feel it should be a 3. I'm gonna keep it just because of the new format. I'm gonna keep it just for shits and giggles at a 2.75. I may be bumping it up to a 3 for the re-rating, but yeah, I think that's where it sits for me.
Rybran, lay it on me.
All right, engaging. I will give it a 0.75. Sits right in there in that mid range. There's a lot of that I'm engaged with, and it kind of speaks to with some of what Ross was saying as well with the comedy to horror ratios of it, and that, I guess I can speak more to that on the cockles there. So a 0.75 there. Sticky, I'm going to give it the 0.5 as well. I definitely can remember Bill Paxton's role in it and a lot of the different characters and some of the lines maybe, but there's not too much that just like glares out and sticks out to me. But I think a 0.5 is deserving for it. T-shirtable, I will give it a 0.5 as well. I think there is some fun that could be had with it. You can make a fun like Club Dread, find a good little pattern, throw some stuff in there, make a nice tropical Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, Hawaiian shirt would be great.
Thing with it.
Oh my god, that would be great.
Exactly. Ross would love that. I think there's fun that can be had there, and I have no problem representing this movie. Cockles.
The question is it T-shirtable, not is it Hawaiian?
No, that's the new format that we're doing.
Oh, that's true. It is a T-shirt specifically for a T-shirt. Well, then what? I'll give it a lower score. I mean, it only goes off, man, if I can't have the Hawaiian shirt. No, that's fine. Cockles, I'm gonna give it the 0.5 there as well. It sits there because, as Ross kind of said, I really like the horror aspects and specifically what they did comedy within that horror very well too. So I like the comedic horror aspects that they did there. And I guess maybe I wanted more of that because when it was stricter on the comedy side, not all the jokes hit as well. I felt this movie could have been trimmed up even more. I mean, you lob off another 15 to...
And you saw the shorter version than what I saw.
I feel like if you lobbed off more and then maybe even throw in some of the cop stuff, that might have done something well. But I feel like there's just parts that lulled for me. So that's why the engaging was down a little bit, and I guess the cockles as well. And rewatchable, I'll give it the 0.25 because I mean, I'm not opposed to rewatching this. I'm not going to rush out to rewatch it as well. So that's where that's going to sit there too.
All right, that gives you a 2.5.
Alrighty, right in the middle of the road. That's where I'll place it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my turn. This will be interesting. I'm gonna go by the scale.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens. So engaging, that's definitely a 1. I am just into it. You know what I mean? I know everybody. I'm looking forward to the next one coming. Sticky is also a 1. I didn't need to watch this movie again. I remember this is one of those movies where there are things I say that I didn't realize was from this movie, like motherfucker, son of a bitch. Like you just forget where you pick up things from.
Totally.
T-shirtable would be a 1. I love this movie. We already talked about a bunch of shirts that would work. Also, I would wear the poster as a shirt. It would have to be a blue tie-dye shirt, but still. Cockles is where it gets a little interesting, because it didn't work them like it used to, but there's some like
nostalgia cockles.
Nostalgia.
Yeah,
cockles.
just feeling warm feelings there. So that'll only do a 0.75 there. And rewatchable, I hadn't seen this movie in a long time because it's so sticky, because I knew it so well. I'm not, and I just watched it twice. Who knows when I'm going to watch this again? I feel like I have no reason to watch it again, really, unless I'm with other people who love it and it would be fun to watch it with them. And I know I'll watch it eventually anyway. So 0.25, which only gives it 4 out of 5 on the scale, but fuck it, nostalgia finger, phantom finger, whatever it is, this is a 5 in my heart. Yeah. So I wanted to see how it would play out, but I knew it wouldn't hit the 5, and I knew I was going to give it a 5 anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
So that gives it a 5 for me. Let me go to what the club has to say from the Witchy Brethren himself, who suggested we cover it. Engaging, 1. I am always at full attention when I watch this. Sticky, 1. It's as sticky as that pleasure sweater Lars has to wear. T-shirtable, 1. I could literally wear anything from this movie. Give me a Sam the Fun Police shirt. It's gold. Cockles, 1. I'm absolutely drained every time I watch it. Rewatchable, 1. Come on, man. I've seen this so much, I'm almost positive I can quote it from beginning to end. So final score, 5 of 5. Jenny can manacle. Oh, yeah. Jenny can manacle me to my deathbed any day. That Piccadilly whore. And also, it's not too much to ask to have sex with the guests. Some of them aren't that bad looking. Which all that stuff at the end there is quotes from the movie. And I believe that is all we had in there. Ross, you had one, right?
Yeah. So we had, I blasted on Instagram.
We're starting to ask on Instagram now. We're going to try and do that. We're going to try and ask on socials more. I believe it was Dagger666 said it was 5.
5 out of 5. That's right.
Yeah. Dope. My man. Shout out. Rybran, how does this compare? Well, first of all, what's the rating on it, and how does it compare to other movies?
It's a 3.4, which is, I think, probably the first time we've had something like that with our new little iffies and whiffies.
Yeah, first time it's been possible.
That sits sandwiched in
between.
Let's
see how it matches up to fucking
2 different things here. Right below it at 3.3s are things like Chud, the menu, and 3 different Friday the 13th. A New Beginning, Part 7, A New Blood, and Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, are all at 3.3s. Right above it, we have at 3.5, The Beyond, A Classic Horror Story, Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Wreck 2, New Year's Evil.
I love this part of it, finding out like where it is, where we have other movies, and thinking about it, and knowing like this one would be one of those movies that would be lower if it weren't for someone's particular score, which in this case is mine. But like some of those movies I feel like would have been higher if it weren't for me. Anyway,
totally. That's how I feel about Black Christmas every time.
Right. Totally. Well, that does it. We did it. We totally chuddled Club Dread.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining
Just
me,
us.
boys.
It was great.
I was going to do this one anyway. Yeah.
Just us.
And I appreciate you doing Club Dread with me.
We appreciate you, Sam.
Even though it doesn't hit me like it used to, I still just have that strong love for it. We've bonded together, you know.
Yeah. We've waded through this pleasure island together, and I really appreciate that.
It's a perfect thing for like a 18-year-old boy who loved comedy and horror, and was me. Well, let's just get on out of here. That does it for Chuddle the Pod Horror Movie Club meeting for tonight. You can follow Chuddle the Pod on Instagram and Slasher and Threads and Facebook, and stay up to date with the podcast. Follow at Ross Purvis on Instagram. See the tattoos he's doing. Maybe buy some art from him, or if you're in the Central Florida area, mosey on over and get a tattoo. I did. I didn't regret it either. I'm fucking loving every day with it.
Oh,
I really am stoked on it. Then you can follow me, Chuddle the Sam, and Chuddle the Brian on Letterboxd if you want to see the movies we're watching and maybe what we're thinking about them. And if you want to be part of the show, the various different segments you may have heard us talk about, Discord, get in our Discord. That's in the show notes. All this stuff is in the show notes to make it easy. Be part of the Chuddle community. If you made it this far, thanks again. Tell your friends, rate and review, all that stuff. Until next time, avoid the time loop. Avoid the time goop.
Goop.
Avoid the time
Avoid
goop.
the time loop.
Ew.
Sends you into a time loop.
That sounds like a good thing to avoid too. Oh,
time
don't touch
goop.
it.
Don't touch it.
It's time
Take
goop.
take your shoes off and try to avoid.
Oh my god, I got
the
some time
time
goop
goop.
on. You got pee on my leg. I got time goop on
That's
it.
what I heard you have to do. If you get time goop on you,
So you got-
after
you
you
do
go through a
that.
time vortex and you get a little time goop, you gotta pee on it.
Sprinkle.
You got pee on it.